If you're getting started with your first outbound cold email campaign, this is the very first strategy that I would suggest that anybody uses. We're going to talk today about a strategy we internally call the Creative Ideas campaign. My name is Eric Noslowski. I'm the founder of Growth Engine X. I send about 8 million emails on behalf of my customers per month, and we work with companies that are YC startups all the way up to legit publicly traded companies, and we've implemented the strategy we're going to be talking today for Instantly.ai since May 31st, 2023, when I first posted this YouTube video of explaining how I used clay.com to make this strategy come to life. And today, it is still one of the best performing campaigns across the most amount of our customers, and I'll explain why in a little bit. Before we get into how the strategy works, I just wanted to show you the proof that it is one of my favorite campaigns. So when we ran our first split tests for Instantly.ai, they asked us to run all of these outbound campaigns for them. What we were doing was, first, we wanted to do some of the most basic campaigns targeting newly hired team members in their ICP, new VPs of sales, new head of sales, etc., etc. Contacts per opportunity, 176. Not bad. Campaign targeting people using a competitor platform, 296. Campaign messaging founders about founder-led sales automation, nobody cared. Case study matching. So somebody is a case study of theirs. We found companies that look like that case study, and we said, hey, we already work with similar companies. We can help you. We had to reach out to 341 contacts before we got an opportunity. A campaign that was 2 sentences straight to the point, 175. Not bad. Keep those emails short, right? Campaign matching technographics, 238. Campaign to join a free community, 81 contacts. This is to join a free community. Look at this though. Our AI-generated Creative Ideas campaign, contacts per opportunity, 85. What I love about the Creative Ideas campaign is it's not like these other campaigns where it's capped. I can only send this email to people who newly joined the team, and it's not all that scalable. This is capped by how many competitors we can find. This is capped by lookalikes, capped by technographics. You don't want to just have people join a free community. We need cash faster than that. What I love about the AI-generated Creative Ideas campaign that I'm going to show you is you can send it to any person in your market that you can find a valid email for, and you can pull their website content so that you can actually figure out who they are and who they sell to. So what is the Creative Ideas campaign? This is an example of the Creative Ideas campaign in the format of something that we would send on behalf of Instantly. Hey, first name, I had some ideas about how we could target customer types together. Here's what I'm thinking. Idea 1, idea 2, idea 3, value prop, CTA. And then sometimes people judge the ideas because of where they're at in the business. So we always want to just head a little bit to just say, we of course can do other things. Let me know if you had any other ideas. What this looks like if we were to actually fill this out for Instantly, we could say, I had some ideas about how we could target finance leaders at US pharma companies together. Here's what I'm thinking. Target CFOs that recently took over their role and show them how you can help them reduce expenses in their first 90 days. Use our website visitor identification to uncover purchasing directors researching your site but didn't leave their email. Always a great strategy. You should always be doing that. Not scalable like this campaign, but you should always be doing that. Send campaigns like this to VPs of finance, asking if their org is currently evaluating cutting software costs with some of the NIH cuts happening. We built a platform that does all this, blah, 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 blah. And so what some of you might be thinking is you might be saying, wow, I follow a lot of Instantly's content, and this is way longer of an email than they would ever recommend saying. But I also find when you're sending really good content, people will read a longer email if you're sending really good content. So if you really nail the ideas, they'll read them. And so this is the framework of how we set up the Creative Ideas campaign. So first, we define the allowed ideas. When we first came up with the strategy for Instantly.ai, we copied and pasted it and we brought it over to another company. It crushed. It was one of the best campaigns we ran for them. But then it started coming up with these ideas that, I mean, while technically possible, the ideas were so complicated that the software development company didn't want to fulfill on them. So you first have to define the allowed ideas. And then you should always write what your inputs would be. If you were to reach out to this company manually first, what would you say in those cases? And then finally, you should optimize it for cached inputs, which I'm just trying to help you save money. I'm going to show you how to set up this prompt so you don't have to think about that. You don't have to be technical. You'll just save money. So you want to define what ideas are allowed. So let's take it away from just Instantly. Let's say we are that pharma expense management company and we were reaching out to CFOs about how we could help them reduce their expenses. We want to tell the AI, hey, you are not allowed to say anything about helping them with account receivables or collections. You're not allowed to say anything about FP&A. We only want to talk about reducing software spend, and we're going to be targeting finance leaders. So in your business, obviously, it's going to be different, but you want to constrain it. So if you're a property management firm and you're reaching out to buildings and you want to say, hey, these are all the ways that we can help you in your local area, right? There's some things that you're going to want to say, and there's some things that you're going to want to stay away from. Make sure that all of those things are defined in the prompt. And I'll show you a prompt in a couple of slides. Then you want to pick 10 companies that you're going to be reaching out to and write it manually for them first, so that you have training data to put into your prompt, so it knows, okay, I saw this company description in the past and this is what we would have said. Okay. And then that's going to help you increase the formatting, the tone, and also just the overall ideas of the campaign. And then you want to use cached inputs. As long as you keep the beginning of your prompt the exact same, when you send it to OpenAI or Anthropic or Grok, whoever you're going to use, they will say, oh, this input is exactly the same. I'm not going to charge them as much money to process this input because I've already processed it. So if you set up my prompt in the way that I show you below, you're going to be golden. Now, this prompt is really fast. I would highly recommend that you expand on this prompt a little bit. I just made it for the presentation and we can't go over everything because I want to try to keep this video short for all of you. But basically, this is an example of a prompt that I would use. You're a researcher that's going to help me come up with 3 ideas. We're an outbound marketing company where we use cold email to help people get more customers. Every idea needs to be around a campaign idea that the company and the input could use to grow their business, et cetera, et cetera. And then see how I'm defining the rules. I'm saying bullet point 1 should be about a new hire campaign. Bullet point 2 should be about creating evergreen testing campaigns. Bullet point 3 should be using LinkedIn engagement, et cetera, et cetera. So then what I would do is in between the input, because this part is going to change, right? This is where I would add in, okay, if I were to reach out to Red Bull, this is what I would say to them. If I were to reach out to clay.com, this is what I would say to them. So that you show the AI, this is what I would say. And then as long as the only part of your prompt that changes is all the way at the bottom, you're going to take advantage of cached inputs. So just put the part that changes at the bottom. So then here, wherever you're getting that paragraph of who the company is that you're reaching out to and what they do, you're going to put this all the way at the bottom of your prompt, so that you have a really nice prompt and you can save as much money as possible. And so for those of you who are thinking, I don't want this email to look like all the other people who watch this YouTube video, or I don't want this to be super long, we usually vary it as well. So we had a 3 bullet point format in the one that I showed you, but you also could just output one creative idea and just send 1 sentence with a creative idea. So for me, and I was reaching out to, Red Bull, I would say, hey, we could cold email colleges and universities who don't currently stock your product and make sure it's available for the students or something, right? Just so that it's like hard hitting, straight to the point. Then we also do the 3 bullet points. And then sometimes we'll also put a super short one in the body of the email, and then we'll do another in the PS. So again, for Red Bull, if that's the example, hey, we can help you reach out to colleges and universities to make sure your product is stocked up for the students. Let us know if you want us to help. Signature. P.S. If colleges isn't the focus right now, maybe we could help you target co-working spaces to see if founders would use it in the vending machines or something. Just so that you get like multiple ideas going, and it makes the body of the email feel short, and then you put the other idea below the signature. So anyway, here's just some ideas. I hope this is beneficial to you. If you'd like, we're going to be setting up another video where we dive really deep into how we set this up. I just wanted to show you that this strategy exists. Go to the next video where we'll talk in depth about how we set this up using common tools for outbound. Thanks, everyone.